Yo, what's good guys, I'm Fire here back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into my Philadelphia Eagles offensive ebook. Now, you guys have always shown love on the ebooks that I posted this year. I posted the Jets, the Bengals, I posted a Henry ebook. So now we're going to do the Eagles, which is now the meta offense in Madden 24. Now, also I'm planning on bringing a Kansas City Chiefs defensive ebook for you guys. So make sure you guys show a lot of love on this video and let me know if you want to see that. I can definitely make that happen because I haven't posted a defensive one yet. Now, going into this one, there is going to be a written version for this ebook. This is very important because the written version is very helpful to understand what's going on and follow along with. Now, the written version will be available in the description for purchase. It is going to be $5 or $6, and it is very helpful. Otherwise, you just have to rely on watching the video. It's very difficult to retain that information, whereas the written version will have every single setup that you see in this video. It will have a Xbox and a PlayStation version. It will have the coverages that those plays are good against, and you don't have to take the time and watch the video and copy it down, which would be probably like 5 hours because it takes a while. So make sure you guys go buy up that ebook down below in the description, and then of course we're going to follow along with these plays. Definitely is helpful to have both at the same time. Otherwise, this video will still be helpful, but it won't give you that extra edge per se. Now, with the Eagles playbook, it is going to be pretty similar to the Colts playbook. So if you run Colts, these are basically the same. Now with the Eagles playbook, our main formation is going to be bunch offset, but this bunch strong nasty is going to be very solid as well. And I hope just to bring you guys some new setups that you haven't seen. Even if you ran bunch, there should be some new stuff in here that you guys can rock with. Now, abilities wise, we are going to just be using Mahomes. I did throw him on the Eagles just to get a little bit better weapons, route running wise. So we have Hot Route Master, and then we have just whatever these guys have. It is going to be pretty important to have that just with some of these setups. Now, obviously, you can work around. You won't need it for all the setups, but it definitely helps. Now, audibles wise, we're going to go double post. I will throw in this read option instead of the inside zone split, and then verts and curl flat. We will touch base on the other ones as we go longer into the video. We will be starting out with double post. Now, defensively, I'm going to just be running mainly like a cover 3. Once again, I do have every coverage that it beats down below in the ebook. I will mention and I will switch for a few of them, but mainly we want to do the bulk of them against zone coverage. So let's go ahead, move our face cam down below, and we are ready to go. So starting out with double post, your first main setup is just going to be throw RB on a drag. Now, all of these setups will be based on your bunch being on the right side of the field. Whether you want to go short side or wide side is up to you. So our first setup is going to be R1 here on a drag route. This is going to give you a few options, mainly being good against man coverage, and really this play works against every single zone coverage in the game. Starting out, you have a C route. Now, is this going to be the best route against cover 3? It's not. It's going to be decent against cover 2 and man coverage. Now, when you have Quez Watkins over there running it with his low route running, it's not going to really be the greatest thing on the planet. Now, our main routes that we like on this play are going to be just our first 3 reads. Now, your first read is going to be that tight end in the flat, which I didn't do there, but your first read is going to be Dallas Goedert over here. Get a little free form action, get him on the run. You see we pick up 10 against a stock cover 3. Even if it's like backed off man-to-man coverage, you can still hit him a lot of times. And you see you will take 5 yards every single time. Now, is that going to be your greatest route for big plays? No, but it is going to help you just open things up, and it's going to get him to throw hard flats and things down like that, man up the tight end, and that's where he's going to struggle. So you have that. Your second read is going to be obviously those drag routes, but mainly what you want to hit, if you can, is going to be this post route. This post route is going to be key. It's going to be a route that you really keep every single play on your field. And you still have these routes over here just in case you have to check it down. But obviously, you're going to look deep. Now, if he's a good user, he's going to take away that first read, and he's going to really try and take away that post. So ideally, you might have to check it down. You will live with that. So that's going to be your first setup. Now, I'm going to go a little bit fast just because of the number of setups we have. I don't want this video to be crazy long, although it's going to be long. That's just the realization of the situation. Now, second setup is going to be streak RB and wheel Y. This is not going to be your greatest man coverage setup for fairly obvious reasons, but this play will be solid against zone coverage. You're going to have a few options over here. What this wheel route immediately is going to do is open up this C route on the left-hand side. Now, one thing I wish I did is I actually just traded over a better receiver initially to throw over here, because Quez Watkins runs the C route pretty awfully. Now, that was even thrown a little bit late. We still fit it in there. So that's going to be a realistic option against cover 3. Otherwise, what you're trying to hit here is, again, this flat is going to be wide open. You can fit this into the seam with A.J. Brown. If you're able to possession catch it like that, make sure you do free form that to the outside. This is also a good quick snap play. So the wheel route's not going to be really great, but what you're looking for if you want to hit the wheel route is really just kind of snap throw, like throw it here. I threw it really late because I didn't mean to, but we even still complete it there. But you really want to kind of snap throw that wheel route if you're going to hit. Otherwise, you want to kind of wait later. Your first initial reads are going to be YA. If you can, hit that C route or post route. And then again, you have the seam route. So you want to kind of throw it like right there. And that would be your best case scenario, almost a 10-yard pickup. And again, you have this post route once more. That is going to be pretty solid here. Boom. You can hit him earlier in that window if you have the time. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit better if you can wait, and it almost kind of turns into a cover 3 beater with how much space he just has to run. So keep that in mind. Next setup is going to be pretty much the same thing, just with the drag and a wheel behind it. This is going to give you a little bit of a better amount of options. Now, it's not going to open up this post route nearly as much. A safety will play that, so be careful with that. But again, keep in mind that he is going to be using one of these players, so that will definitely change things. What this wheel route does a really good job, though, is opening up AJ on his drag. So again, it's just mixing things up. He's going to be expecting all sorts of different routes. So when you switch between these, it's going to be difficult, and he's going to be probably adjusting different zones into different areas. So next setup is going to be streak RB. We're going to drag A and angle Y. So here is this setup. This is going to be a very good setup against man coverage. Also very solid against zone. Once again, this best way to run this post route is going to be having the streak in the middle. We have that, but we also have a few other options. Whereas, and again, you could run this setup with the running back on his little out route, but we like to get a little bit more depth here. It gives us the option to pick up more yards, and it just makes the play look a little bit cleaner, less chance of those guys kind of hitting each other when running their routes, because otherwise they can. Also, DeAndre Swift does kind of happen to collide with the offensive line a decent amount when you're doing that. So, and you guys know what I'm talking about, whereas Icon just disappears. He's no longer an option to throw the ball to. So, again, you do have Quez Watkins over there. You have this drag route. Take advantage of it. Try and throw it a little bit upwards to get a better animation. And that's going to be your setup right there. Next setup is going to be wheel Y, block A, zig RB. This is going to be a really good setup against man coverage. This would be good against things like cover 2, cover 3. Again, this wheel route, it's going to be your quick read. You can snap throw it. If it's man coverage, this wheel route can get open later in the play. This C route should be decent against man. It is a little bit flatter, so it's kind of tough to throw it deep over the top. But it just depends on who you're facing. And then, boom, right here. This would be your money maker against any kind of a man blitz or man coverage, because he's realistically going to have to choose one to defend, and that's not going to go well for him. So against zone, you can hit it. Having nothing else there to clear it out, like a Goddard's route, is not going to be the greatest. But again, you're blocking because he's sending pressure, so just anticipate that happening. Post route, obviously you saw it open, not the greatest throw there, but you guys can kind of see what we have there. I'll show it one more time here. Boom, wheel route, and you can hit X over here. It does take a good throw, and again, he's going to run that route a lot cleaner. He would be getting there about a second earlier, probably, just because of the route running. So again, take the timing that you see right there with a grain of salt, because your guys' receivers are going to be better than that 73 overall Quez Watkins over there. Anyways, next setup is going to be corner A, streak RB, and wheel Y. This is going to be just a really good setup against man coverage. Again, we kind of got the same thing going over here. Every play, you can snap and throw this route. Even if he's manned up and he's playing that far off, that is an option, especially with the good running backs. If you have those Derrick Henrys and those Peyton Hillises that will break those tackles, feel free to take advantage of that. Otherwise, we got a nice man coverage look over here. Against zone, you have a chance to fit it in. It's not going to really be good unless it is a potential cover 2. Against cover 3, it's not going to be your best read. So do take note of that. But if it is cover 3, boom, you can hit this guy or you can hit the post. And again, he's never really ever going to be usering over there in the flat unless you're throwing that wheel route a ton and he's going to try and lurk on it. So if he does that, that's where you go back to the setups where you hit Goddard in the flat and then you can hit AJ in the seam or the post route. Just give yourself a lot of options. Now we are spending a lot of time on this play, but it is very important to your bunch. So next setup is going to be corner B, drag X, block Y. Here's a look at it. This is going to be just a solid man coverage mainly. Now if it is zone, it can work, obviously. Boom, AJ. This is a route that we haven't really ran. You will see more of this route in verticals, of course. But that route is going to be pretty dang solid, I'm not going to lie. Now, man coverage wise, obviously you see against cover 3 in this case, the corner routes are never really going to be the greatest against cover 3 without any kind of a streak on that side. But if it is man coverage, you can take advantage. We have the extra protection with our boy blocking over there. And again, you see the third, he's going to play that really well. So it's just not an option. So this route, this combo I would say is really mainly for man coverage, but that's going to be our last setup out of double post. Let's go into our next. And again, I am going in order of the written version of the ebook. So even if you buy it after, you can actually run through this video again. You'll see me following along in the direct order of which everything is listed on there. So next play is going to be Verts halfback under. Very good play. And a lot of these setups are pretty user friendly. They're kind of quick snap type setups where you get to the line of scrimmage and you can just run the play and snap the ball. So the setup that you see here is going to be just throwing the running back on an angle route. This is going to be very solid against man coverage. Because if it's man coverage, you're going to give yourself really 2 options, the angle and AJ. The user picks one, you throw it to the other. Pretty simple. Now, if it's a really good player, maybe they have a vert hook in place of the angle route. You know, situations can happen, but you still have a few options with these wheel routes that can get open deep. Throw it up, give your guy a chance in one-on-one coverage, which is likely what it would end up being. Against zone, you have options. Boom, you can hit Devontae. Now, Witherspoon makes a really good play, but I didn't freeform that at all, so you could highball, freeform it. Maybe that's a completion. Otherwise, just stick to your guns here. Boom, hit him over the top, even with that hook curl actually kind of following and playing it a little bit better. He doesn't quite get the job done, and you're still able to hit him over the top. And then again, with the angle route, you can really throw it early here. It kind of turns it into a streak. Or you wait, let's say he takes that away early, you can actually maybe hit it later. So that's going to be your setup number 1. Setup number 2, almost like what we just said, this play is not really going to be ever usable against man coverage, but against zone, it gives you really good spacing. And it's kind of dealer's choice. This has been one of my favorite kind of red zone setups actually for the longest time, because typically you'll see cover 3, cover 4, things like that, and this is where you can find, you can also hit Devontae early on this play. I meant to throw it to him, we didn't, but you really have 3 options. You also have a bailout later in the play if need be with kind of AJ Brown on his deep over. He really should get over the top of any zone coverage, but your first kind of read is going to be Devontae over here. If you can get the ball to him over there, he's going to pick up like almost a first down every time, like right there, and we actually pick up 15, which is even better. Otherwise, hit the running back, and then again, you guys know if it's cover 3, hit the seam. Cover 2 would be kind of where you want to hit Devontae Smith a little bit later in the play, or AJ Brown, of course, because these wheel routes will really be taken away by the vert hooks. You can kind of fit them in the seam a little bit later in the play, but boom, Goddard, he gets in a really good spot. You can actually get a block there, and that is a massive play. And again, it's quick snap, so he's not going to be able to get all of his adjustments off that he may want. Next setup is pretty simple. Just drag that tight end. This is just a very simple setup, going back to kind of those crossing mesh concepts with the running back, with the tight end. Gives you some options, and it becomes dealer's choice at that point. Obviously, that's going to do a real good job of opening up those deeper routes with AJ, mainly because it's going to pull down any hook curls that he throws on the field, assuming they're not zone drops. Otherwise, you can hit those guys. Again, you have Devontae if you want him, always over here. Now, if it's pressed, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge, but if it's pressed cloud flat, it becomes a little bit easier to take advantage of. So there are pros and cons really to every single defense that you will see. Now, this is a throw you can make. It's not my favorite read, but you can pick up 3 or 4 And again, 3 or 4 puts you on pace to be in a third manageable, second manageable, things like that. Next setup is going to be just block your running back and drag this X wide receiver. Now this is again just another quick snap setup. Really does a nice job of opening up AJ. You saw how late I threw that ball and we still almost caught it. So obviously time it a bit better. And again, you still have your seam. He's just a good bailout later in the play. Again, generally you'll see the user almost always following that AJ Brown route up top because they're so worried about it, and they're worried about the post from Devontae Smith from that other player we were running, that he is going to be money every time. Otherwise, check it down to the drag and you can pick up 10 yards. Next setup is going to be a little bit of a weird one. This isn't my favorite. And it's going to be with this little corner out with Goddard. Really a good man coverage setup. You can actually fit him in this window right here. You can also almost kind of freeform that backwards, although we did lead upfield there and we still had enough room to complete it. Again, this opens up Devontae a little bit. Feel free to highball that if it is a bigger defender playing corner over there. Even though Witherspoon is a larger guy, this is just a good, it creates a really good kind of late read concept. Again, where is this user going to be thinking about this logically? It is going to be following AJ Brown. So this creates a really nice late play high-low between Swift and Goddard. Again, we're not smart routing, but if you wait a little bit, boom, hit him over the top in that play. Really good. The spacing doesn't look like it would really be the greatest thing in the world, but it ends up working with Devontae Smith over there, actually clearing him out in the perfect position. So I'll show that one more time. And again, you can hit DeAndre for about 10 every single time, but we'll take the 20 with Dallas. Anyways, next setup is going to be angle Y. We're going to block our tight end in this case. We're actually going to curl B and motion him across. This is a very solid man coverage setup. I don't love this play against really any other defense besides maybe a cover 3. And again, you have a high-low. Take your read between Swift and Brown. He's going to user 1. If it's cover 0, you have Devontae over there. Otherwise, he doesn't do the most for you. Now, a lot of times if you throw the over route late, kind of the way I did, it is important that you click on and you end up undercutting it, rat catch it, aggressive catch it, just to get that better animation. So again, motion out this curl route, you have the angle, you have AJ, take your pick. And again, if it ends up being pressed, oh, thought he could have caught that. But again, one of those guys is going to be the user, so it'll look a lot cleaner when you're throwing that angle route than it kind of does here. But yeah, so if it is pressed man-to-man coverage, this fade route definitely can get open. So you might fall asleep, forget to shit over the top one play. Even if it's press zone, if you have a speed advantage, you can take that guy, take your chances once again. Anyways, our next setup is going to be drag A. We're actually going to slant B, block Y, and then what we're going to do is motion snap this slant on this out route. This is going to be a solid spacing concept. Again, obviously we want to hit AJ. Realistically, we're probably going to end up hitting the tight end or the slant. It doesn't matter though, because they both are really good routes. So feel free to take your pick. Obviously, if Goddard's open, I usually will just hit him. It gives you just the guaranteed catch, which you want to take. Otherwise, if you're forced to, you can hit Devontae. It just becomes a little bit of a tighter read depending on what zones he has there, but you can easily throw it in this position. Now that was a hospital pass, but again, one of those guys is going to be user, and there's also a high chance that there's no other zones on the field. What I mean by that is he's just taking the middle of the field by himself, which is a possibility, especially if he's trying to send a little bit of pressure at you. So if he does that, boom, you definitely should be chilling to either hit Goddard or obviously hit that backside slant, which he will never be expecting because that is not something that is done in any other setup in the rest of this video. So last setup is going to be corner A. I'm in the wrong play, but corner A, drag B. We are going to streak Y, and we're actually going to motion out this drag. So this is a really interesting looking setup, but it is very effective. We have this corner out. Now this corner out's not going to do much for you against zone coverage. If it's man coverage, you can hit him. Otherwise, he's a good clear out to open up this backside drag. Obviously, your quick read is going to be kind of DeAndre Swift here. Later in the play, you have AJ. Obviously, AJ's taken away just a lot of the time. Nice catch by Swift there. But really, on this play, again, you have these distracting routes. You're trying to just open it up to either Swift or Devontae Smith. One of those will be open. If it's earlier in the play, hit Swift. If he's lurking over there, I don't like it. I can hit Devontae here, and we pick up an easy 15 yards on a little backside drag. Welcome to Madden 24. So we are done with our first two setups. Those will be the most in-depth setups of this video, which is why they take the longest, but they are the most important plays of your scheme. So next play is going to be curl flat. Now with curl flat, we do have 4 setups for this play. It is going to be a solid play. Now you could also run some of these with that curl out dig play. Very similar. This corner out, I think, just gets a little bit more depth and goes maybe a little bit deeper, but I could be wrong about that. I believe maybe curl out dig just cuts a few yards shorter. But first setup, streak B, streak A, block Y, drag X. Now what you want to do with this setup is motion out Devontae Smith. That is something I actually forgot to write in the ebook, but it will be updated after this video. Now this setup is just going to really give you everything. And again, this is going to be something that he maybe not be expecting because everything is focused on the inside. Now you run a play for the outside, and you can really catch him off guard with that. With AJ over here, boom, you lay it out there, and it is a massive 30 to 40 yard catch just easily on that corner route. Now, this isn't the greatest use of resources in the world, but again, keep in mind that his user is going to be following the inside probably heavy. So the likelihood of him using that is slim. If he is able to use it, you can hit your drag. And again, those drags are really going to be open against every coverage unless you have a complete mismatch at your wide receiver to his corner. You would have to have a slow wide receiver. And even then, I can hit him here. And it's 10 yards with Quez Watkins. Even though it looks like there's 2 linebackers there, throw it. Even if you get 3 yards, you're fine with it. That's setup number 1. Setup number 2, streak B, corner A. We are going to throw the running back on a little out route to the left. Now, this setup is a little bit interesting. It depends on what coverage you're facing, what you will want to run. I will actually switch to a cover 2 for this play. This play would be good against man coverage as well. I will go cover 2 though, just to give you guys a little bit of a new look. That is on the left is the corner out dig. My face is blocking it, but that is what that play is. I will go cover 2 here. Man coverage would be a solid option as well. Now I will go back to the cover 3 to show you what you want to do if you're facing that, because it is a little bit of a different setup. But here is once again just our setup. Fairly simple. We do have a little high-low over here. One of those guys will be open. If it's man coverage, both of them will be open. Over here you have a corner out that goes deep, but you have a little shallow corner out that can get over the top of zone. So pay attention to that. Now, Goddard did get bumped up the field, but what he does, you know he's going to at least hold Tariq Woolen down. Now, again, zone drops can definitely play a part into this. So if they are playing zone drops, one of those guys will generally, particularly, be a little bit more open than the other. Now, if you want, test your luck. You can also fire that in the seam. Now we did get hit, but that could be a potential option as well. Anyways, we are going to go back to the cover 3 though, just to show you what it looks like against that, because I don't want to be stuck in cover 2, because really you won't see cover 2 that much. So we will go back to our cover 3. It's going to be the exact same setup. Really all you're going to do though is motion out Smitty. This is something you have to do against cover 3. I will show it without, because you maybe can still complete it. You can hit Goddard over the top, but that is played and that is picked. He's going to do a good job of opening up AJ. If it's man coverage, again, you really still want to throw it to AJ, but one of those guys can get more open against man coverage. It depends on a lot of things. Goddard will be getting probably a better matchup most of the time, but cover 3, you have him open. You want to hit him on the sideline. Go out of bounds. Don't take a hit. And that play is good. Now, let's say we ran it. We forget to motion out. What do? It still really actually ends up working. Just got to throw it to A.J. Brown. You probably want to pass it to the sidelines. I'm trying, and you can actually probably hit Goddard, but you would want to highball it, which is not what I'm doing right here. But with him, you can actually probably undercut it. We get a good animation there, but again, it's still risky, and you can see the difference between motioning out that receiver. Anyways, our next setup is going to be corner B, streak A, curl X, which I guess he's actually on our curl, so I can take that out. And we're going to angle Y. So I will actually take that out real quick so I don't forget. And this is why it is good that we go through the video, because some of these would be a little bit weird. Now, is this setup great? It is not. This is way more of a man coverage setup and a cover 2 setup. This setup will never work against cover 3 really. Now you can actually hit him over here against cover 3, but it is not my favorite concept. I like attacking the middle of the field against cover 3. Now, obviously, it works here, but I like to set up a little bit better against cover 2. Now, if it does end up being cover 2, probably both those guys will be open again. Man coverage, obviously, you can kind of take your choice, but just a solid setup there. You have this angle route. Feel free, check it down to him. Again, you'll take your 5 yards. Make sure your running back can catch the ball, though. And yeah, that is that setup. Last setup is going to be a simple setup, streak A. This is not going to work against cover 3, but against cover 2, it definitely can. You see, that corner is going to play it. But again, solid cover 2 setup. You also have these little checkdowns over here. Boom. You have Swift here. He picks up around 4 or 5 yards. You'll take that. You have the curl. If it's cover 0, you can hit him. And then if it's man coverage, AJ is going to be really your main guy that you want to hit. But this is just a decent quick snap play. You have B that can also get open depending on what zones he has on the field. So take advantage of that. Anyways, we are going to hop into our next play, which is going to be PA read. I'm actually going to reset our audibles just so I don't have to keep backing out to switch the play every single time. But obviously, you guys kind of know the audibles, and I will talk about read option a little bit after all these passing plays, though. So the next plays we're going to go into are going to be PA read. I'm going to come out in that. We have 2 setups for Z spot and go. We have flood, smash return, and then speed dig. So some good stuff here. Now, again, I could make this video 3 hours long, but I'm only really showing you the best stuff. There's obviously good setups out of all of these plays that you could do, but there's just not enough time, and I don't want the video to be super long. So we're going to come out in PA read once again, and we are going to run cover 3 because the first setup of this play will be a cover 3 beater. What you're going to do simply is just streak RB. You can block the running back or not. It's up to you. But if you get enough time, it is going to be bombs away, and Smitty has enough speed for that. Obviously, you can throw your fastest receiver at that B position. I would throw more of a possession guy route running at that RB position, and then obviously just getting 3 receivers is going to be your best bet. But very simple setup. This is a good quick snap setup. If you're playing someone in weekend league, like your first few games, he's not very good. Easy setup to run against the not great players of Madden. So this is a concept that we like. Obviously, you can block the running back if he's sending a little bit of pressure, but I do feel like the play action helps a little bit with your blocking, honestly. So if it is a 4-man rush, I may like having the play action because it actually gives you kind of run blocking animations versus the pass blocking where you get shedded instantly, depending on how many people they have and their personnel. So here is what it looks like with the running back blocked. Obviously, no difference at all, but it gives you one last check down. If he uses that, you're kind of screwed out of this play. I would probably just throw the ball away because you're not going to have much after that. Next setup for this play, streak RB, angle Y. This gives you a little bit of a better option. So you have 2 options. You can throw this route a little bit earlier if you have to. You can smart out it if you're really trying to run it as a post, but at that point, just run double post. You really only want to use it as kind of a cover 3 beater. It can be solid against man coverage, though. So running this play against man coverage can be an option. That was a terrible free form. Obviously, throw it just a second earlier. He's open. But yeah, so he's using really deep. You can hit him. Apparently, we can't complete the pass, but I think you guys understand it. So this setup will be decent against man. I like it a little bit better probably against cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Probably not your best bet. Last setup, streak RB. We're going to throw the running back on out to the right, and we are going to corner A. So here's a look at this setup. This gives you a little bit of a late play option. You still have the cover 3 beater option, but this gives us a chance to hit Goddard over here. Now, it depends. Our running back got bumped a little bit there, which can happen. Now, if that happens, just hit your running back. If he doesn't get bumped, I think he has a chance to pull down the zone. In this case, just not happening. So boom, we'll check it down. We'll pick up like our 5 yards, and that is just a solid play where, again, the user's never going to be over there. He's going to see like AJ streaking down the middle. That will immediately hold his attention, and then he'll follow to Devontae. So that's going to be PA read. Let's go into Z spot and go. Now, out of Z spot and go, we like this streak with A. We like a wheel route with Y, post with X, and then I like to motion snap out. So I would actually motion snap this. My favorite route to hit here is kind of Quez Watkins on his little post, if you can fit it in against cover 3. Cover 2, you have a few options. AJ should get over the top against that. Man coverage, Smitty can get open against man, AJ can get open against man, and then obviously Quez if it's cover 0. But I would motion him out like this, just a solid concept, and you kind of want to hit him like right here. That is the sweet spot, and that's going to be, again, something he's probably not sitting on because we haven't thrown that once. That is a really good red zone play as well. So, again, just a solid concept. And, again, these little plays, take advantage of them because bad free forms. But these plays where they're kind of underrated, take advantage because people don't see these plays a lot, so they will be caught off guard if they see them. Motion Smitty out. Now, again, the corner out, not going to be greatest, but you can actually hit Smitty if you throw it a second earlier. Again, just terrible timing. This play is good. You saw it open. But, yeah, cover 2. You have your corner out, man. You have your corner out. So, good options there. Next setup out of this, just simple cover 2 beater. I will go to cover 2 just because I want to show it off a bit. If it's cover 3, you can hit the out route. If it's cover 2, you will hit the, where are you? If it's cover 2, you'll hit the corner route. So pretty simple. You can run this as concept out of curl flat as well, but I like having this C route over here as well because this just lets us hit DeAndre over here. Feel free to hit him. Every play, if it's cover 3, he will be open there as well. But again, simple concept. This was really popular, I think Madden 22 or something. Boom, fire it over the top against cover 2. And you got that down. Cover 3, you can hit the out route. Really, against cover 2, you can still hit the out route. So you have options. Let's go to flood, though. Now, out of flood, very simple setup. Angle Y. That's all you're going to do. Obviously, on this right side, one of these two guys is going to be open every single play. It's going to be either Goddard or it's going to be the out route. Now, if he double Mabels, that's his only really hope of beating your coverage or your concept. So you could double Mabel. Against cover 2, it's always going to be this flat route. There's no hope of a slot out route ever getting open against a cloud flat. So you're going to hit Goddard every time. If it's cover 3, you have a lot better chance with this play. It's really not great at all against cover 2, besides hitting those quick checkdowns. If it is cover 3 or man coverage, you have a lot in the bank. You have this backside dig that will be open against cover 3. You have AJ that should be open. Goddard will be open early, and then Swift should also be open. So you have options. Now, he does get bagged there. Hit the check down. If it is a hard flat, you can hit over the top. If it's cover 4, the out route should be open. I'm not going to switch to it, though. So Goddard's open. We can hit Swift here, obviously. And then again, there's not going to be 2 hook zones, so he'll probably be committed heavily to the right. Maybe he switches back to the angle. You can hit Goddard or AJ. Just depends on what side. If he stays on the right, you can hit the angle or the in route. Take your pick. Next play is going to be smash return. We have just one setup for this play. That's going to be drag RB. You're going to post your tight end actually for the first time yet. You're going to flat Y and streak X. Boom. Very solid man coverage setup. Also going to be good against cover 3. Obviously, you want to hit Goddard over the top. You see how good just the slot drag route is at pulling him down. You have your quick read of Swift that you can, again, really hit every single play. Just a solid play. I mean, just a solid play, man. Obviously, I forgot to streak Quez here. It didn't even really end up mattering. It just made it more of a hospital pass. But I do like that back zig route. We'll show it one more time here where I'm actually running the correct setup. Boom. Like this. Let's say you're bagged. Maybe hard flats over there. You can still hit Devontae here. And we pick up almost a first down. So just a really good play there. We got 2 more plays out of this bunch. And then we will take a little break. And we'll head into the bunch strong nasty where we have a lot more setups. So more to come for sure. We got speed dig here. This is going to be a 1 setup play. You're going to block your tight end. You're going to motion, or you're going to wheel Y. Then you're going to motion him out. You're going to drag X. Boom. Here's a look at your setup. It is very interesting. It's not my favorite setup on planet Earth, but it's solid. I like the backside out, and motioning that wheel right out can create confusion. Late read can be Devontae Smith because I guarantee he's not going to be expecting that. So again, block your tight end, wheel Y, then motion him out, and then drag on this backside. You have AJ open. You can hit this drag, and you can maybe hit Devontae if that safety is not there. So that's going to be your speed dig. Let's hop into our last play, which is going to be dig return. And what you're going to do out of dig return is very simple. This is one of my favorite red zone concepts, one of my favorite 3rd and 2 type of plays. Where are you, my friend? Dig return. I was blocking you. Really good play against cover 3, man coverage. Very solid. It's going to make you pick between Devontae or AJ, and it's going to become dealer's choice. You could obviously hit Goddard here, but typically, if it's man coverage, it can be a big play to that zig route. Otherwise, he will get in a good spot of most zones. Late play situations, you could hit AJ right there. Boom. If that zone goes up, you can hit the smoke screen actually, which I didn't say, but you will want to smoke screen that player. This play is something I don't hate running from the short side as well. I feel like it gives us a little bit of a better look for that zig route, which it typically ends up doing. So feel free to do that. But let's go ahead and hop into our next formation, bunch strong nasty. Or actually, I wanted to talk about the read option. I lied. So we will talk about the read option. Good thing I remembered, because I definitely wouldn't have had I just gone straight into it. So let's go read option here. Now, here's the thing about the read option. It's going to be solid. I don't run the ball really much, but it is going to be better if you do. Now, typically with this read option, I found a little bit more success if you kind of cut it back like that. You'll see, or the pro players do that kind of approach of cutting it back. Now, that's pending Goddard actually makes a block. Obviously, if he chases the QB, just keep it with Mahomes. He doesn't here. Cut back is going to be your better option. Not good stick work, but you can see kind of the threat of that being open. So take advantage of that if you want. You can keep it to this right side, obviously, but sheds happen and things like that, especially if he's in a pinch 4-3, even 6-1 or something like that, pinch dollar. Probably your best bet to cut it back. But let's hop into the strong nasty now. All right, now this is going to take us to part 2, which is going to be the bunch strong nasty formation. Definitely going to be your second poison out of this playbook. Again, same in Eagles, same as Colts. Basically the same playbooks. Now, here's the thing with bunch strong nasty. It is a little bit more confusing to run. Just it takes a little bit more skill, I would say, to master this formation versus a traditional bunch. Just because it's a little bit more chaotic. Everything is even tighter than it is. It's like running tight slots, halfback weak. Your reads are just a little bit tougher. They're a little bit less clear-cut, if that makes any sense at all. But nonetheless, we are out here in the bunch strong nasty. Now your audibles are going to go as follows: mesh, flat, spot, RPO, read, bubble, wide trail, and PA bunch shot. Now, we are going to start out with the wide trail play, and I didn't go as in-depth in this formation as I could have. You can definitely do a lot more. You can watch some of the pro players that run it, but we do have a good amount of setups with that being said. So let's hop into it out of the wide trail. Now, this is a formation that I've also seen run from the short side, so dealer's choice on some of those picks once again. Thankfully, we do remember to switch the camera back, which we do, and we are off and running. So we're going to start out, once again, in the ebook, I do write which side the bunch is written on or based on. So again, it's always going to be on the right. We will hop into actually a few trip setups where the trips will be on the left. So we got wide trail here. This is going to be your really good play. You can really run this play stock. You have a drag, angle route, post route, and a little corner route over there with a swing. Could be a solid play. If you want to come out here and snap the ball, nobody could really blame you for that. Now, obviously some terrible reads, but we have B, we have A, we have the swing. Not going to be your best setup though. We're going to drag RB, we're going to wheel Y, and we are going to flat B. This is going to be your first setup. This is going to give you a few options. And again, you do want to kind of simplify this formation just by your setups, because if you try and throw everything in the middle of the field, it's going to be a nightmare. You can get lurked very easily going from angle to post or post to angle. So be careful. Now, this setup is going to be pretty solid. It's going to be the wheel route option. Really, you'll be able to see right off the bat. Generally, what you'll see with the users, them going to probably go from drag route to wheel route late. Could be the other way around, but you can definitely hit DeAndre Swift here. Now it is a little bit of a tighter throw, so you do see that angle route becoming a little bit more enticing, or the flat route being enticing. You can hit him here. Some of your other options are going to be later in the play. You have that post route. Again, you can also smart out that post, get him just a little bit shorter. I don't say that in the setup, but that is probably your best bet. Goddard, he's going to be open here. And again, there's never going to be two hooks. It'll only ever be one hook. And the user, or it'll just be the user by himself, which if he does that, good luck to him defending this formation ever. Because this is all middle of the field base. Once you start going corner out base, things get a lot tougher. So you see, not the worst option to hit Quez a little bit later, which we were trying to there. We did get shedded, but that's your first setup. Second setup, flat RB, you're going to just block Y. So this is going to be simple setup, and you'll see for a few of these, your best bet could be just throwing one of those receivers out of the way, because him just being in the middle of the field creates a lot of chaos. So I don't hate the setup. This is a good quick snap setup. Just flat RB, block Y, you still have your angle, you still have your post, you can still smart out Quez Watkins, you can hit him right there. That's your best bet. Waiting a second, don't throw on break, because the linebacker still kind of lurks you. Again, if you want to smart out him, then you can actually throw him a little bit later than even that. So we will smart out him in this case, and boom, you can hit him in that window. But yeah, so you do have a few options for that play. Obviously, the angle route is something that's really open on every single play. We're not really throwing it, but it is open. And again, it just depends on the user. Drag or angle route, throw whatever. If you can hit him late, you can also throw it in this window. So let's say he follows the post. That would be your option to hit the angle route kind of later. Obviously, you would probably rather hit him earlier, because things like that, block sheds, they do happen. Now, here is going to be another setup out of wide trail that we're going to go to. We're going to flat B. We're actually going to ghost Y over here, and then we're going to just slant RB. So this is a little bit of a weird option play, but it gives you a few different routes that you can hit. So boom, you always have this post route in the middle of the field. Now you saw what I did there, just bullet pass, and I do undercut it in aggressive catch to avoid getting it knocked out. We have this ghost and we have this flat route, so those are going to be good spacing concepts. We had Swift wide open there. And again, things look a little bit worse now than they really should, and that is just because of the fact that it's just so many zones in the middle of the field. So when there's so many zones in the middle of the field against the CPU, it's obviously going to be better for me to throw to the outside. This setup would be really good against man, though. You have the slant, you have the angle, and you have the post. Take advantage. Anyways, we're going to go into mesh flat spot now. Out of mesh flat spot, we like to streak RB. I like to throw X on a little out route, and then we just like to angle Y. So here's this setup. Solid. It gives you options against man coverage. You can hit A right there. He actually ends up stopping, which is kind of beneficial. You have the out route early, or you have the angle route. The angle route's not going to be your greatest thing a little bit later in the play life, so be careful with that. But solid setup. Streak against cover 2. These guys are going to be open. Against cover 3, not doing much for you. If it's man coverage, you have so many options: the drag, the angle, and the out, and the corner. So you can definitely take advantage. Swift, you want to hit here. Obviously, you'll hit Goddard earlier if he's not covered, or Quez on the outside, because if that zone is inside like the way it is now, or coming from the safety spot, that's going to be a reliable option. So boom, just like so. And if we can hit him over here, we will, pending there's no outside knockout or flat zone knockout. So that's setup number 1. Setup number 2 is going to be streak RB, throw X on an out route, angle Y, and flat A. This is going to be a nice little high-low read. Again, more of a play for cover 3, but if it is, or more of a play for cover 2, but if it is cover 3, you can hit your flat over here. Now, you guys do know that I like my streak with the outside receiver better if I'm trying to do that, so that is an option, but you can't do a whole lot, really, unless you motion out, which can be a tell in your offense. So be careful with committing crazy to that. But again, out X, angle Y, flat A, very simple setup, and we actually don't do anything with B, so we are going to keep B on our drag. I messed that up the first time, I think. So very good man coverage setup. You have your drag over here. You have your angle route. Really, on this play, you're going to take your drag or your angle mainly. You have the out route as a quick read, and then again, late in the play, you have Goddard as a flat option. So that's setup number 2. Setup number 3, streak X. We're actually going to streak RB, angle Y, flat A, and then what we do is we motion Goddard across the formation like so. So this is creating a tight slots type look. You have these 2 little streaks that you can throw as seam routes. Otherwise, you have drag or angle route. Once again, if it's zone, later in the play, you have flat. So you want to try and hit these routes depending on the side. Get a little bit of a better free form than the one I just showcased. But here is a look. You once again angle route, and boom. So again, take your pick between these 2. You will always have really a clear-cut option. So you will know who to throw it to. Obviously, I don't have a live user, otherwise I would. Streak X, Streak RB, Angle Y, this is going to be your next setup. Now this setup looks quite chaotic, does it not? It does. But depending on your depth, the setup can work. It is a little bit chaotic, I will say. But, or I'm in the wrong play, I'm stupid, never mind. I was confused for a second. Okay, so you're gonna angle Y, just like so. Okay, so I was running I messed up there. So ignore that last part where I was talking about the drag and the angle route. That setup's actually not terrible, but we're gonna run it like this because I was in the wrong play. Forget to audible. This formation confuses me, trust me. It does work, but it does confuse me. Now, here's gonna be your setup that's a little bit better. You have the angle route, you have a flat, and you have this deep corner route that can get open. Now, again, with this corner route against cover 3, it is a little bit sketch to throw, but you can hit it like so. Press cover 3 would probably not be the same story, though. Be careful with that. Cover 2, you can hit it over the top. Cover 4, may be able to fit it in. Again, if it's press cover 4, not going to work. But, again, I'll show this setup from the last thing. Boom, it's like this. And then we'll show the one that I was actually on. So you have Goddard over there. Obviously you have the seams. AJ he's open if you can really time it perfectly and probably pass the inside. Sorry. So next setup is going to be Streak X, Streak RB, and Angle Y. We are in the wrong play. But here's the setup. You have a drag, angle route, corner route, boom, 2 streaks. And again, those press streaks, they can get open. Now, I would also probably drag A because I wouldn't want them to stop like that. So that might be something we add to our ebook if we remember. But we are on the, oh my God, I keep coming out on the wrong play. But here would be your good setup. And again, man coverage, you have lots of options. Because that corner route becomes really good against man coverage. I should actually give you guys a look of that route against man coverage, which I probably should have done as a regular bunch, just to give you an idea of how it can work. Wish they had a cover 1 press in here. There we go. So let's say we were running that setup. Here's what we would go to, and then boom. Now, Devontae, those routes actually switched, I believe. Or was Reek on him. Otherwise, that was just really good coverage. I think you guys understand that those angle routes do get open, though. And yeah, those guys literally pass each other off. That's kind of crazy. I'm going to try and just clear out that side so we can get a little bit of a better look at what actually should happen. It should look like this against man coverage. And Smith isn't exactly a burner, and Tariq Woolen is really good in Madden despite not really being that good in real life. So let's look at what's a little bit better against man coverage. Obviously, if you run that same setup, you have Quez Watkins, who could get open over the top like that. And then you have drag and angle route, which will be open as well. So we have our last setup, which will stay in man for this. You're going to actually corner X, you're going to drag RB, and you're going to angle Y. Or angle. Trail. It's called a trail. I put angle. I think you guys understand what I'm talking about, though. So this is a really good setup. Drag 2 corner routes. You have this flat over here, which isn't going to do much for us against man with Swift over here, but we have 2 corners. We have 4 man-beating routes. Now, Quez Watkins maybe is running the worst corner route I've ever laid my eyes on, but you guys could understand how we could get open over there if that's a receiver that's above a 70 overall. All right. Now, my criteria for being a good man coverage beater is really 3 routes that can beat man coverage. Goddard, right there, not doing many favors for us, but we are still able to fit it in, actually. Drag, you guys know about the drag. So let's hop into PA bun shot. I am going to, actually, we're not. We're going to stay in man coverage because I do have a man coverage beater, I believe. Now, with PA bunch shot, our man coverage beater is going to be Streak X. We're going to wheel Y. We're going to flat B, and we're going to block A. Really, what you want to get here is Swift open in man-to-man coverage. He should be able to get that. That wasn't the greatest throw, but you should be able to get a step. You can probably high ball freeform over the top. Now, I don't love this setup, but you have X that's, again, going to kind of get open there. You have RB that can get a step as well over there. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that setup. I don't even know why it's in here, but it is what it is. So next setup, flat or corner B, flat Y, trail A, again, angle A, whatever. This is a really good setup. You have a deep threat. If it's cover 0, you have a corner. This setup's good for man, zone, pretty much everything. Again, with Smitty, he gets a little bit of a sharper cut on that one. We get a bad throw. It does happen. AJ Brown got fried on that route, but Goddard gets open. Again, actually cribs it. That's crazy. So those are your setups out of PA bunch shot. Let's go ahead and hop into our trips though now. Now, with trips, I only really do have 2 setups. Then I'll kind of show you guys some things, or one of the run plays I do like to run in the red zone. So, with trip set and offset, or actually, we do have a run play that I'm going to talk about real quick. This RPO read bubble can be sneaky solid. Now, it depends on the numbers. It depends on the situation. If he's in like a 4-3, even 6-1, you're cooking with grease. If he's in nickel, it's not going to be the greatest thing, but it still can work. And right there, Goddard did an amazing job of blocking. He picks up 2 guys, pause, and moves them out of the way. So that can happen. Now, even if he doesn't pick up his block, even if we don't break that tackle, it's going to be probably 5 yards. So definitely solid. You see, even there, nobody blocks. We pick up a decent amount. Be careful about getting lurked. A good user could pick up on this, but I don't run this enough to where it becomes an issue. And again, weird stuff like that can happen when you run it, where you cut back inside. You can do different things with it. It's fun. Really good against 4-3, even 6-1. So even if you're not liking the strong nasty as much, like kind of how I don't really love it, you can audible to it and just run this RPO. Now, if you run too much RPO like that, things can go wrong. Especially if he was pressed or something, it would be a little bit tougher to run this. But yeah, you want to mix in this formation regardless of how you feel about it. It is confusing, so I would practice these because even I don't really run these too much in game, so I'm not the greatest at running them in practice mode. Also, your icons do change, which is something I just noticed. Goddard isn't picking up that block, so it's maybe not the greatest. Let's go to PA crossers though and X under. Trip side and offset, I do have videos on this formation, actually running it in full gameplays, so I'm not going to necessarily go like deep diving because when I run Eagles, I really just run bunch, but which again is your most important stuff there. That bunch is the most important, but we are going to set our audibles just so you guys can see what I like. I like X under, I like tight end in, I like read option. You could also go RPO alert bubble actually, which we will. I have some really good setups out of all these plays. Get Zacchaeus out of here. He should never see the field. And get Marcus Mariota out of here. Now, again, I obviously traded Mahomes just for Hot Route Master. I know this is a site that I would never want to see as a Cowboys fan on the Eagles, but I would prefer him to never go to the Eagles. And he never would, so there's no reason to worry about it. But we will start out with PA crossers. And again, I just have one setup for these plays. Zig Y, angle RB, flat A, boom. Just a money setup against really man coverage. Can work against zone coverage. You can hit Smitty over the top here. Pretend Bobby Wagner's the user. If he dips on the angle, throw the crosser. If he goes deep on the crosser, you can hit the angle. Solid options. If it's man-to-man coverage, you have Quez over here. So you have, again, 3 man beaters. Really 4. AJ would get open. Smitty, angle route, and the zig. If it's late zone plays, you have options as well. If you get time, you can maybe even hit Swift over the top there, but you're asking a lot out of your offensive line. And if he sends pressure, you're screwed. But quick setup. And again, when you're running bunch all game, they can catch you off guard. You can catch them off guard rather by mixing things like this in. X under is our next play. You're going to streak B, post Y, drag X. This is a good setup you'll see out of like trips tight end, but you can also mix it in here. I love this I love these table routes against zone. They will eat you alive. Love the flats with Goddard out a bunch. Take advantage of those for sure. Otherwise, late in the play, you have angle or you have backside drag or post. Again, whichever one is user, throw it to the other one. Fairly simple stuff. Goddard not doing much on his route, but if it's man, he could get open. Specifically, cover 0 with no purple over there. So easy setup, and again, it's just confusing. Late play situations, you can also hit Quez, especially if he goes from deep post to drag. You're like, ugh, he has a zone block in the post. Boom, throw it over the top late. Solid, solid. So let's actually show some of the run or red zone stuff. This is like you get to the 2-yard line. I don't have any crazy dots that I drew up for you guys, but you guys know the stuff I like. Verts, halfback under in the red zone. Obviously, this RPO alert bubble wouldn't be the worst red zone play in the world because you can hit Smitty over here. It's going to really force him to have 3 corners over there or user it. So you love that. Or you can just hand it off. Boom. That's a good red zone play. It is a good red zone play. What else really works in the red zone? I think something like this. Maybe a little baby curl with the tight end. We throw something like this. Could work. Goddard, he sits in a good spot. Maybe throw a hitch on the left side as well. Force the user to make a choice. Throw it to the other one. Man coverage. Those guys should get body positioning enough for you to hit them. Against zone, you can find the weak spots like this. Or you could actually keep Goddard's route. Maybe you could hit him in the back of the end zone. I don't know how the spacing works. He runs the stupidest route I've ever seen. He actually does a loop-de-loop in the end zone, so maybe take that back. But I will show you the under center formation that I am talking about. And with this under center formation, it is going to be the wing slot. You've probably seen people run it before. It's very solid. You have the stretch. You have the dive. So really take your pick. Stretch is going to work pretty solid. Just easy run. You can cut it back like this. Even with no run stick, you're going to fall forward most of the time. Now, I'm not in any crazy run defense setup because you can't make setups, but easy touchdowns with the stretch. Get Derrick Henry, you get Peyton Hillis, you get your X factor. Boom. Even easier. If you want to go dive, you can. Dive into the end zone like that. We didn't even get the good animation. Doesn't matter. Obviously, we're getting good push because we have the line of scrimmage advantage by a long shot, but that's the animation you want. Take flight. Obviously, normal stuff, fullback dive, power O's, good. But this formation is solid, and you can also hit Devontae Smith. So, gives you options. But overall, that is going to do it for the ebook. If you guys did enjoy and you want that defensive ebook that I was talking about, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.